All right. Well, we are back for session 19 for the Crimson Letters. And our previous scenario. Very quick recap. Investigators had followed Flinders from Galloways to the Arkham Cemetery in pursuit of Amelia Clark. After sending Flinders for a timeout back in the car, they break into the Kerwin Mausoleum. Descending into the mausoleum, the group discovers a secret door that reveals a spiral staircase leading downwards in the lower level. The hidden level contains a hearth on the far side, a desk covered in various papers and items, a work table with alchemical tools and reagents, and a bookshop of occult writings and artifacts. And they forgot her pen. She's running away to get it. A curtain bisects the room. Nora drew it back to a larger chamber on the other side with various set up for casting magical rituals of some kind. Amelia Clark is waiting in the room. She convinces the group to talk to her. She tells them about the monster and how it was summoned and then subsequently sealed away by Mason, and how it has now once again had the sealing broken by the efforts of Leiter and his friend Cecil, to hopefully profit off of the papers that were sealing this away. It had been long ago stored away safely, but it's been sealed like tape. She has enlisted the investigators to track down a shopping list of items. The Starstone of Benar, which was buried with Hyundai Mason, just recently acquired. A disc of lead or some other malleable metal. A large silvered mirror, which was already obtained. I don't think he even mentioned that. It was in the room. That basically worked out that he didn't meet Amelia earlier, and she managed to get the mirror herself. A metal flute or panpipes, and an animal sacrifice, something that is a rabbit or larger. The main concern on your side is that while you want to help her to seal away this monster for good, prevent it from rampaging across Arkham, the papers will be destroyed, as far as you know, in the process of sealing it. You have the potential option of trying to copy the papers to be able to have something to give back, but then there is a severe danger that it will impact your own psyche, considering what has happened to the people who have so far touched the papers. Otherwise, Watts asked if she could really do magic, and then subsequently forgot about it under mysterious circumstances, while Brady is aware that this basically did happen, and she made him forget about it. Then, otherwise, the investigators headed off, got down to Keziah Mason's mausoleum, through a back door that they were told about. Sneaking down there, they did find Keziah Mason's grave and took the top off the sarcophagus and yoinked the starstone off of his neck, only to find out that it awakened his undead body and they were attacked. And then, while the others were scrambling to react, Brady calmly pulls his sidearm and plants a bullet square in the head of the zombie, dropping it to the ground in one shot. Which was in cinematic terms pretty great, considering I think Watts fired off a volley of 3 shots, all of which missing, and then Galloway also missed with a rifle shot as well. So the investigators at this point decided they needed some rest and were not going to return the star to Amelia Clark right away. They headed home and got some rest. Next morning, they went over and headed to the university and split up. Basically, Lucy Stone did not appear, whereas did. Watts, Brady, and Baker took Wheatcroft. Went to talk to Dr. Wheatcroft with Wick. Mentioned that he had been hearing noises from the morgue on opening the place where the full storage where the body was being kept. They found that it looked like the body had attempted to escape at some point, scratching bloody trails along the various walls within the apartment. They pulled the body out, and it was looking a lot worse. It was clearly sort of turned around and wrenched in unusual and unnatural ways. Wick stresses that something is obviously clearly amiss here, and that the body should be cremated as soon as possible, considering you guys chat about some other things with Wick, and basically find yourself in the body. Switching over to Galloway and Wright, we had a I can hear myself. Why? That's really weird. Maybe there's a noise in the. That's very strange. Oh, hold on. I bet I have. Sorry guys. I actually had Twitch open with the sound on. I was hearing myself like a minute ago. That runs through me. It was also like very quiet. It was like 20% volume, so it was just like slightly in the background. My own voice coming at me. Galloway and Wright went to go and check on Lucy. They get to her apartment and find a police cordon. Lucy has been murdered in the night. The chief suspect is two thugs that they picked up in her apartment. They speak with the sergeant and get a statement from him, confirming that was in fact Miss Stone. Spotting hidden as the body comes out, they notice that the hand is damaged similarly to Cecil's. And they decide that they should detour around to pick up a gun for Wright. I think that's it. I don't know if there's anything I missed. Anything you guys want to add in there in terms of your recap?
That about covered it. I think the only thing I can think of was it seemed that there was something paranormal involved since Lucy chewed the back of her hands.
Right.
Yeah, I think we sort of discussed it was unlikely the thugs were actually related and probably were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. But oh well, too bad for them. And moving on, sucks to be Lucy Stone.
So in terms of your TBD list, as I posted to the channel earlier, I loosely had down that you had obviously top of your list tracking down the items requested by Amelia, of which two of them Galloway was likely to be able to obtain via the university, notably flute or handpipes from the music department. And the animal sacrifice might be something obtained from the scientific or medical testing laboratories available on campus. There's also the idea of checking Lucy's apartment, like seeing what actually happened in there, because you have not actually been in there yet. Potentially investigating the thugs that accosted her. You might be able to go to the police station and speak with them, or the police for that matter. There is the upcoming dinner with Abner Wick this evening, which you need to get suitably dressed up for if you are going to attend. And there is some other secondary stuff that has been on your list from before, notably going to take with the Cobbs, which are the family that's related to the Cobb houses that have come into possession of these papers, among others. And there's visiting the old Hop House Manor, and there's also potentially visiting Amelia's lodgings in the city and or the Kirk Corwin Manor on the outside of town.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of things we can do, but at least Nora would be like, there are a few things Amelia specifically said would end this. Let's do that and get this shit done with. I don't know if other people want to specifically go off on other tangents for personal reasons, but that would be Nora's push.
I think Luce would be on that same track of mind of, yeah. Words are hard.
Yeah, we pretty much covered it up last week. We're in the home stretch.
So I guess let's pop over to Watts, Baker, and Brady at the university. What are you guys doing?
I mean, we just did the Abner Wick thing, right?
Yes, and I'm not sure you specifically had anything you were saying to Abner Wick in summation. If there was anything you wanted to say to him before he was gone, you'd have an opportunity now. If there was any last questions or comments that you wanted to make.
So, this is a black tie event you're hosting later, right?
Yes, it's the finest restaurant in Arkham. You must look the part if you're to be admitted.
I don't have anything. I don't have anything to look the part. It's not something that I've ever needed. It's not the circles I run in.
He says, oh, well then, I suppose I should expect as much. Here, you take my card. Go and see Flinders. Flinders. I've already used that name. That's on top of my head. Sorry. Finnegan's tailors downtown. They'll see that you get set up with the proper attire.
Appreciate that, Abner. And also, I'd love to swing by your store one time, maybe, and like I'm a massive geek into the occult. Any occult items that you may have that you think would be of interest to me, or did I mention early into Abner yet?
I don't think you specifically asked him about it, and you probably would have been to Abnerwick's play, considering your interests at some point in the past. Although you probably would never have seen him since he doesn't exactly staff the front desk.
Right. And Alien is not like a secret.
Most people don't know what it is. Like the fact that you want to specifically talk to a university like like anthropological linguist was somebody who actually was familiar with it enough to be able to point you towards something that looks similar but didn't know what it was.
Right. So yeah, so I'll say to him, and yeah, so anything occult wise, and not sure if you're too familiar or ever heard of Alia or alien style items or artifacts or language, but that is something that is quite of interest to me, and between us is something that I can slowly decipher too.
He coughs and reaches up with his handkerchief and mops his brow a few more times and says, Relian, sorry, was that the name? I'd have to go and look through my extensive collection of antiquities to confirm this. It jogs my memory, I suppose.
Well, if you'd like me to come and help you look through your extensive collection and maybe find some stuff out, more than happy to lend a hand doing so.
Yeah, laughs and says, I'm sure you would, but my assistants will be more than up to the task.
Does he seem like he is legitimately not sure what we're talking about, or is he faking it?
Thank you for asking.
Give me a psychology check.
That's what Nora's here for, basically. Shooting and psychology.
He seems to be very slightly evasive, but he also seems like somebody who is fairly frequently, in terms of your read on him, not exactly willing to like show all of his cards in his hand.
So he's not telling us everything, but that's not surprising.
Exactly.
Yeah,
He
it's
is
always
always kind of evasive. You can have confirmed via this check that he is also being evasive in this situation.
Gotcha. Nora will sort of subtly raise an eyebrow at Watts to convey that he's not telling us everything, but meh.
So at that point, I'll then say, well, Abner, Mr. Wick, I can guarantee that you will probably have never have met anybody who can actually decipher anything to do with Alien, and that is something I can do. So whether or not your assistants are able to pick the stuff out, understanding what it is another thing.
He takes a few moments and says, if that is true, then you very must be sure to see that you get to the tailor to be able to attend our dinner tonight. There is, a particular matter that I wish to discuss with you, and it will be of interest then to you most of all.
Interesting, Abner. I mean, we're in a secure private location now. Do you not want to let us in on what you want to discuss now, or perhaps we can do some research beforehand for you?
Yeah. Nonsense, my man. You must have a sense of drama. You do not get as old as I am without learning what to say when and when not. All in good time.
Nora will sort of make a subtle cough noise and try and catch his eye and just kind of adjust her gun in her holster. Say, I don't do really well with drama.
Give me an intimidation check. That's a good roll. He coughs again. Oh, and then once again, very furtively mops his brow and his cheeks, and says, "Miss Baker, surely such actions are going beyond the pale. I must implore you that all will be explained in good time. Let us just say that there are other artifacts that deserve the attention of people who know how to handle them, such as your group."
Most interesting. Well, I will try and control my reactions, but I expect you'll let us know if we're in any danger. You wouldn't want me getting overexcited.
Like, oh, you are most certainly in terrible danger at this moment. I think that should be obvious, but not from me, my dear lady, not from me.
Fair enough. I appreciate your honesty. Are we done with this terrible sight? I think it is probably time that we get it dealt with before it continues to attempt to escape.
He furtively looks over towards the body and dabs at his lips a little bit with his handkerchief. He says, "Indeed, indeed. The body must be dealt with." He starts waddling towards the door, tearing his eyes away from it and breathing heavily.
Did he seem like he was telling the truth when he said that he didn't mean us harm? It's like, do I need to ask it? I may as well just ask.
Psychology check.
Just in case he's completely lying.
He's not completely truthful about that either.
There we go. Okay. It's like, I feel like we know the answer to this already, but just in case I roll really well, no, whatever. We learned nothing. It's fine.
It's not going to stab you right now, but do you trust him? Would you sleep with him in the same room?
Probably not.
I don't think Nora trusts, like, more than one person in the world at this point.
This is definitely on the suspicious side.
Anyway, cool. So, how do we get this body cremated before it does things?
So out of character, I mean, your logical next step is making sure you lock it back up and going and speaking with the Dr. Wheatcroft and trying to convince him to cremate the body right away. He seemed very interested in getting rid of it, so I'm sure any old story that you make up would very likely swing with it. All he needs is an excuse. He wasn't not very happy about it being as more. Tell that to me first. When you previously talked to him, and he was just like, "It's making noises. Can you go look at it?"
Yeah. I think we're all on the same page. All right, cool. Let's go. Let's lock the body up. Make sure it's nice and secure and not getting open, and then we'll talk to Wheatcroft.
All right, let's swing back over to Galloway and Wright, over outside of Lucy's apartment.
So the police have like left at this point, or are they still like blocking?
Unless you're hanging out for a while, the police are going to be around for a bit, as it's a fairly violent crime scene. What you've heard.
Even as a investigative reporter, I bet probably don't have enough pull to hop into that. So
I think you might be able. I would say you might be able to talk your way in there. I would say that you would not be completely like it's impossible, but it wouldn't be easy per se.
well,
Do it.
did seem to have some kind of prior relationship with was it the sergeant?
Yeah, so the sergeant certainly had seen you around before in terms of covering other regular crimes and things like that, since you have been a reporter in the city for some period of time.
And we did already see the two Atlantic City thugs get carted away, right?
You actually didn't see them; they had already been taken away. The body was you came as the body was being removed, but the thugs are since gone, as far as you're told, at least.
Okay.
Is there another entrance to like the building itself?
So you could easily surmise, in terms of the style of the building, that there is a back entrance as well, and there is also clearly wrought iron what do you call them, fire escapes on the side. That's a good question. Historically, I don't know if that's such a thing yet, but let's say they are.
Okay.
Well, I could try. I could try to talk to the sergeant if you wanted to look at the crime scene, but I'm not sure that there's much left at this point.
Yeah, I'm
The
not
only
sure
thing,
they would you possibly, but most likely not me as well. And to be honest, I don't know if it's something I want to see.
only thing that's bugging me, well, aside from the obvious, is what would have caused a break like that. Do you think she had seen the papers? She didn't let on that she had.
I'm not sure how they work, but I mean, it's possible that it just took time for it to take effect.
Simple touch.
Yeah, Amelia was um, very forward about touching it is not a good idea.
It's just, if there is another object of that nature, and if she had had it, we wouldn't want any more people stumbling across it, suffering the same fate.
Did Miss Court have the forgery? Or we had the forgery?
We had forgeries of something else, I thought.
Didn't Watson Baker find the forgeries? Or what was there?
Oh, we had touched that. We sorted through it and everything. That's not fantastic.
Yeah, so I will give you guys, like, I guess a broad insight that's for something that, like, might not be terribly, I kind of intended to be, to some extent, a hint, but anyway. I would say that so far your experience of the things that have been happening is clearly that, like, while there may be some connection with people who have touched the papers, that doesn't mean that people who have not touched the papers are completely immune. Things are happening all over the place, like the crazy weather, seeing the lights, the apparition in the courtyard. Like that, basically, that while the people who seem to have been in touch with the papers are suffering the most severe and intense related effects, the entire area of Arkham is in some ways being affected regardless.
Was it specifically those forgeries that, well, we had the forgery of something else that we tried to return, and librarian lady was like, "This shit's forged," and we had to talk our way to get it back.
Yeah. Yes. You guys. So certainly, some of the forgeries of the actual papers themselves have been completed. That was one of the things that had actually, as far as you know, been something of a catalyst in causing helping the breakdown of the seal upon, according to what Amelia said, the seal upon the horror in the ink, using its official name. That had been part of that process. But exactly whether the forgeries themselves are particularly also imbued in some ways as something that is more dangerous than simply generally being in the area, you could say. There is certainly the possibility that Amelia Clark is not necessarily the absolute source of truth on exactly how this is manifesting and who can be impacted. She simply is acting however she chooses to act.
So who has the forgeries now? Did we leave that at Galloway's house?
Well, that is a good question.
I think so, because we had originally given them to the dean and then we got them back. Or no, we gave them to the librarian and then we got them back.
So it was the. I thought the forgeries. There was specifically the forgeries we handed in to the librarian. She said these are forgeries because I have whatever this is already.
Yes, there were some miscellaneous historical documents that you did specifically find as part of the cache of stuff that you looked through.
I think I still have those.
We talked her down from just straight reporting us, but I think she was wanting to talk to the dean at some point. We just stalled her a couple days. But
Yes, and you specifically, when you went through Cecil Hunter's apartment, found specifically forgeries of the Hobb House papers, only a few pages.
okay.
Yeah, which we would have held on to.
Yeah, I don't have a notice of who specifically has it on their person, but you definitely have both some miscellaneous forgeries and also specifically some Hobb House.
Oh, that would be Watts would have those, because that was just Baker and Watts that went to Hunter's apartment.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because that was where we ran into the thugs and we terrorized them with the metal plate thing. So yeah, it was just the two of us. I would assume Watts would keep them because Baker would not hold on to that shit.
Completely disarming my dangerous situation using my things against me.
Exactly. That time.
Well, I can try and get us into the scene, and if that doesn't work, perhaps you could go around back. Maybe I could distract the police on duty.
Yeah, we could try something.
Jeff, you're kind of quiet. I don't know if this is true of anybody else. I turned you up twice just now, and Emily just said you're kind of quiet again. So just FYI.
Let me check something real quick.
Sounds normal for me.
Huh.
I've got you at 150.
Yeah, I got him up at 183 now.
Okay.
Damn, I don't have any points in law. Dumped it. I thought about it.
So it is using the correct mic. So I don't know why it's quiet.
That's weird. Why is the stream not working? What's going on? I just clicked out to check. Oh, there it goes. Weird. It kept taking me into the old stream for some reason. I'm just Jeff's wearing a totally different shirt. What's going on? Did he change his shirt at some point and I didn't notice? Yeah, but I fixed it. Anyway, so it's clearly working. Sorry. So in terms of finding your way in, there obviously is a police cordon. The sergeant that you've been speaking to is still standing there speaking with one of his constables, and a few different police officers are going in and out. There is also a few of the people who are residents of the building being let in and out as they are starting to relax the level of security because they have now taken the body away.
I'm sure I've hit a couple police scenes. How long do they usually take before they start to wrap up?
A little hard to say, but probably not terribly long, considering the timing that you got here and the fact that the body's now been taken away. You would assume that while they might leave a skeleton crew around for follow-up in the rest of the day, that the majority of the police will be making their way out of here probably pretty soon, in the next 10, 15 minutes, half an hour, something like that. But it's hard to say for sure.
Perfect. In that case, I'm gonna just go around and grab just not necessarily statements, but talk to just the neighbors and see what they have to say. Just doesn't have to go into detail. Just kind of biding my time, staying in the area.
All right. We probably don't need to go through a whole long playing out a whole bunch of miscellaneous conversations. Let's just throw a. I guess give me some kind of social role of like fast talk or persuasion or charm to see whether you're particularly good at getting people to open their lips.
Well, trying to think a way to.
Do you have a journalism skill?
Not that I see. Kind of hard to be charming when you're talking about dead people.
I don't know, but you can play up the aspect of like, oh, you're going to be in the papers, and like, don't you want to be somebody who contributes to the story and lets me know, and I'll publish your name. I would say that's potentially charming.
Suppose I could be overly sympathetic, like it must be so hard. Your neighbor must be terrible for you.
Yeah, exactly. You're trying to sort of butter them up a little bit and be their friend. All right, with a regular success, you speak with a handful of the bystanders, some of which are from in the building. You get a few tidbits from them. Obviously, a variety of different people saying that they heard the smashing and screams in the night, and that there was clearly some kind of ruckus going on, but that it was all very early in the morning, and the police showed up not long after. One of the people who was one of her closest neighbors mentioned that shortly before the police appeared, they heard the clear sound of a window smashing and the noise of somebody on the fire escape. But they didn't exactly see who. Beyond that, clearly people are fairly shaken and think that it's rather unusual. You also hear certainly mentions about how loud the storm was in the night, and how it rattled windows and even in one case broke a window for somebody. That people were obviously fairly disturbed by the overnight weather, beyond anything that happened in terms of Lucy Stone herself. Nobody particularly remembers seeing the thugs in any detail, though a couple people did run into them on the stairs and mention that they did seem like they were up to no good. People are very quick to believe that it's true that these Atlantic City thugs, although they don't know they're Atlantic City thugs, but these thugs are people who were responsible for her death, considering that she seemed like a nice enough young lady who worked hard and was just trying to get by.
All right. We'll poke a little bit and toss in asking if they heard anything unnatural.
One of the neighbors does particularly go on at length about how unusual the noises were, and that she was constantly left guessing as to what exactly was going on, considering the strange noises that were coming from that apartment. But it's always difficult to hear through the walls and the floors, and it seems like these things can be amplified so easily. Basically she does seem a little bit shaken up from it beyond any simply somebody died in the building or was murdered. But somebody say, what was not there didn't see the body. Unfortunately, the police got called before any of the neighbors actually went to directly look. And as far as you've heard, that the police basically caught the thugs red-handed in the room with the dead body.
I guess the only other thing is while I'm milling about, I'll have a good look at the officers that have to deal with the scene. How do they look? Does it seem like it's the usual murder, or they seem more shaken than typical?
Well, that's a psychology roll.
All right. I failed.
Obviously, loosely speaking, no roll required. They seem fairly normal, but a little bit upset about it. And my Android app is taking over my screen. Stop it. Go away. I hooked my phone up to my Windows computer, and now it's like I get a notification, and then the app like takes over my screen. Sorry. So yes, the police officers, they seem a little bit shaken up, but you can't, if you're particularly draw any meaningful insights. But yeah, it's fair to say that at some level, it's obvious to anybody that like they're taking it fairly seriously.
All right. After burning some time, how many guards does it end up being right outside the apartment, covering the scene?
The sergeant and the main contingent go on their way fairly shortly thereafter, and people start trickling away about 20 minutes later, 30 minutes later. There's one police officer stationed outside the front door who is still standing there, and you don't know whether there's any more inside.
I'll reconvene with Miss Galloway. Well, it seems that they're down to one guard at the door, but I couldn't see inside.
We could check the back.
It seems that the Atlantic City thugs came from the fire escape, so the window's likely broken.
Can I see the fire escape? Like if I just walk around the building a bit?
Yep, there is clearly a fire escape on both the east and west side of the building.
Can I spot the broken window to tell me like roughly where the apartment would be?
Give me a spot hidden roll.
Oh, okay. Nope.
You did know that she apparently lived on one of the upper floors. In terms of your previous discussions, you didn't know specifically exactly where, but it's not terribly unusual that you can't quite see from down on the ground for which exact window it is.
Yeah. Are there any police on the fire escape?
No, I would have included that. The police aren't there. If you had been looking earlier, you might have spotted police investigating it.
Okay.
If we're both back there, can I look around the base, not looking to re-roll, but do I see anything like left over? Maybe, I don't know, like anything that the Atlantic City duo could have left behind.
Yeah, I'll just say you can do another spot hidden roll. We'll see if you find something different from that approach. Also, that sucks. You guys both have pretty good spot hidden stats. No, yeah, you unfortunately don't spot anything obvious on the ground left behind.
So, to get to the
You think that'd be worth pushing, Jeff? With the 70?
I think.
How are you pushing it?
I was thinking maybe I could get a boost Miss Galloway to get somewhere that's harder to get a direct look at.
So I would say obviously that you can go up the fire escape, and that takes no roll to simply climb the fire escape and check it out. Like you can just do that.
Maybe there's like a precarious edge that would give a better vantage point. Do you think it'd be worth it?
I think with your 71, more than likely would work than my 48.
Yeah, all right. Might try and push that possible.
Yeah. All right. I'll give it to you. So you will get boosted up and look down across the side alley, checking out to see from a higher point on the first level on the second floor of the fire escape. And you can do another spot hidden hold. As you are climbing onto the first level of the fire escape and looking around, you peer up and down the alley, trying to spot if there's anything that stands out. You look all the way to the one end and all the way to the other, and don't see anything. You lift your hand to your head for a moment to scratch it, to wonder what you should do next before you look down at it and you realize that there is blood on your palm. Staring downwards, there is clearly blood on the railings that has been tracked downwards on the fire escape.
Mr. Wright looks disgusted and pulls out a handkerchief and quickly starts working at the blood. It seems they were wounded possibly from the glass. Came back through here.
They said that I thought they were caught red-handed. Like they were in the apartment.
Quite literally. I'm sure.
Then how did the blood get out on the fire escape? Exactly.
The more we look into this, the stranger it gets. But if this is the fire escape they used, then we should be able to get to her apartment if we just go up, look for the broken window.
I'll double back, have a look inside, and if there's no guards, well, either way, I can talk to the guard up front and keep them occupied in case you make any noise.
So there's still a guard standing out front. But yes, I would say Galloway is also correct. You could just go straight up the fire escape and see about what's going on in her from the outside. But yes, the fire escape's around the side of the building, so the police aren't here to see you go up it. Or alternatively, you could try and talk your way into the front, or just kind of nonchalantly walk in. Hope he doesn't question you.
Well, I was thinking, if I talk to the guard up front, he'll be having a conversation and not paying as much attention to the random noises coming from behind him. Hopefully, some insurance.
Yeah, that's not an unreasonable potential option. Galloway, what do you say?
I'll say I don't like the idea of going alone, but I'd rather not be found, and I see no other way to make sure that one of us is not found, and I think you have the better tongue to keep them occupied.
Just be careful, especially while you're going through that window. I've seen too many people get some scars from going through windows.
Of course. So I will.
He rubs his hand thoughtfully and starts heading the way back. Give me a couple minutes.
Okay.
Head start.
I'll wait for like a minute and then try to quietly go up the middle stairs.
All right. Well, then I would say, describe how you are going to distract this guard, and we'll decide on what kind of social role is appropriate to that.
I'll start with asking for a statement for the press, and then go off the record and have like a more casual conversation about it, and then start bringing up all the accounts that I got from the different people and asking for confirmation this, confirmation that, and basically somewhat waste his time, somewhat give him some extra information, collaborate.
I feel like this would be a fast talk roll.
Uh-oh. I am very bad at that. Shit.
I'll give you, considering it's your profession, I'll give you a luck roll if you want to just go luck. Which presumably is higher than your fast talk then, if your fast talk is not something you're good at.
We'll take it.
Yeah, so we'll take that as because it just seems like you're in terms of your profession, you should be at least somewhat good at this. We'll give that as call it a journalism role. So you managed to keep him busy. He's happy to open up a little bit about his experiences. Does mention that the scene was particularly gruesome, and he can't possibly let you go in and look at it. That it's not for the eyes of those not trained to see it, and that it's really given the boys on the force a runaround. Considering that they'd never expect common thugs to devolve to such terrible butchery. And then we will say, Galloway, as you are heading up the fire escape, let's cut back over to Watts-Bakey and Brady and Baker. And let's see what do you guys want to do, because the morning is moving on. They've been spending a bit of time out there. You got some opportunity to do some stuff.
Well, I think it's best that we head downtown to Filligan's. We need to rent a suit or something.
I would feel more comfortable if we had acquired all of the items necessary for Miss Court's ceremony before we worry about our vanity. But if you are that concerned, you feel free to go acquire your suit or whatever, and we'll see about the sacrifice.
I mean, if downtown's downtown, I'm sure we'll be able to find some things down there that we need, like the mirror or flute.
Oh, the mirror she had. That was what I was saying. It was one of the things
Right.
that was on the list, but actually was already there. And then the flute, in theory, could potentially be gotten from the music department at the university, or you're already at. As could potentially the animal sacrifice. There is the question of the large metal disc of some kind.
We just required the piece of lead, right?
Or other soft, malleable metal. So gold would work.
I don't know if we'd be able to afford to get a big slab of gold. But...
We could root through my aunt's collection and see if anything suits the bill. It would give me a certain amount of satisfaction, but that might be the slow way around this problem. I don't imagine finding an animal to sacrifice will be all that difficult in a city at this point, but this disc of metal may require some more effort. Does anyone have a particular idea where such a thing may be acquired?
Would I know offhand, like, any shops in town or anybody in particular that might have, just with me being someone of history and antique, and I'm just trying to think of, like, if I would know of any place or anything to be able to find that kind of item.
Give me a antiquities or appraisal, whatever find connection roll, whatever your main thing is.
What did they make cars out of back then?
Pure lead. I would say that in terms of finding a clever way of going about obtaining some kind of metal disc that could be engraved, your familiarity with appraising antiques, you come up with the concept of going down to some kind of low class secondhand antiques market. where you could most likely find some sort of simple metal dish or other kind of like servingware that is lightly or unadorned. That would be a good cheap way of obtaining something that might fit the bill.
Okay. Would this particular spot be somewhere relatively close to where Watts will obtain his tuxedo, his little black tie?
Sort of. Watts is going to would need to go to the central side of the north side of town. You would be looking to go out to the far west side of the north side of town, which is closer to the railroad.
Okay.
Well, with an idea of where to get that in mind, I guess that Nora would have like some idea. There would be farms around Arkham, right? Like on the outside, and Nora would know that she grew up here,
Yeah.
so she would just like suggest people go to whatever places they're going to go to, and she's going to head off to one of these farms that has small livestock and try and go buy something suitable to, stab.
Yeah, I'm sure
Whatever
you
is
can.
handy
Yeah,
and
go
local.
buy a goat.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever's handy and local, she'll go try and purchase one while people accumulate the rest of the stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you could certainly make an effort to drive out of town and find a farmer to convince to sell you a chicken or a goat or something like that. That is totally fair. I would say give me a luck roll to see how quickly you are able to find this. All right, so with just a regular luck, we will say it's going to take you through till after lunchtime, probably about 1 o'clock. If you're leaving, it's like they're early-ish morning. You're going to be gone a good chunk of the morning and back around lunch into the city with a beautiful golden hen in tow.
Would I need to do something similar if I'm gonna split off and?
Yeah, so you and Galloway obviously could go off and no, sorry, Galloway's already off on the north side of town.
And Watts.
Watts. You and Watts could head over to the north side of town together and split off. Basically, you could jump off of the cab on like once you get over the bridge and proceed on foot. You would know where you're going with Watts being dropped off at the tailor.
Okay.
All right. Any other input, Watts or Baker or Brady, as to what you were doing in this endeavor?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna go like purchase animal rather briskly and not try and negotiate terribly much. She'll pay whatever it costs.
Yeah, you're able to afford it. You have a reasonable amount of money.
Okay. And then I guess stop by home on the way back to town and pick up some sort of reasonable outfit to change into for this dinner if we end up going. So I have it like in the car at least.
Great. Good thing you mentioned that. Because I have plans if you do not show up dressed appropriately.
She doesn't have clothes. She hates it, but she has stuff.
Did we want to discuss the untrustworthy Abnor Wick? How we want to handle that?
I mean, she's still gonna have her gun. I assume she has like a thigh holster or something, just in case.
You Dr. Martin boots on, who you slipping into?
Whatever would be 1920s appropriate semi-hidden gun. She carries a very large purse? I don't know. She still has her weapon.
All right. Have I heard back from my contact yet that I sent the telegram to?
So you had asked him to meet you at the university. Where would you have been going to meet him?
It would have probably been at reception.
So heading over to reception before you go on your way after visiting the morgue, you can ask if there is anybody, if Professor, what was his name? I have a note here somewhere. Oh, jeez. Oh, Professor McDonald. You ask if there's been any word from Professor McDonald. There is a telegram waiting for you.
Ooh, interesting. I'll take the
Uh,
telegram.
It says, Watts, thank you for your message. We'll be proceeding to Arkham University or Miskatonic University with all haste, due to arrive on 9 a.m. Train tomorrow.
And when did he send that? Yesterday?
No, it came in this morning.
Yeah, okay, great. Awesome. I'll just say that to Brady and Nora. I said, great. My contact, my old professor is going to be meeting us tomorrow at 9 a.m. arriving by train. Obviously, what we're dealing with, he was very interested in, so he's making haste. That's if you guys went with me to reception. I don't know if you guys went off to buy your sacrificial animal.
I think Baker is off doing her own thing at this point. But
Brady.
I guess if I've already purchased my item, it would be right there.
I would say this would be before you go to purchase your item. This is
Okay.
before you guys hop in the car to go to the north side of town.
Okay.
Do you want to swing by the library for a few hours before we go downtown?
You guys are obviously cabbing it at this point because Nora has the car. If that changes your decision.
Oh, how far does it is that downtown to the uni?
So how what?
How far is downtown to the university?
It's the other side of the river. It's a good 20, 30 minutes. It's in the middle of the day by cab, considering there's a lot of foot traffic and slower horses and things like that on the road.
How long does it take to walk?
Probably like 80 minutes.
Fancy a bit of a hike, Brady, or should we call a cab? Call a taxi, a horse and carriage. I don't know what they.
Yeah, I think we should go on foot.
Take a walk, a nice casual stroll.
Yeah.
Still is a relatively nice day, but as you are leaving the university grounds, the wind is starting to pick up. It does not look like it's going to rain, but there is a wind starting to blow from out in the east. A cold wind.
I wonder if there's going to be more storms tonight, Brady.
I don't know. Only one way to find out. But I guess till then, what was your reasoning behind going to the library again?
Well, I mean, research. Obviously, research helps for everything.
Purely selfish. Purely selfish.
What kind of research though? What would we gain? What incremental gain would be had by going to the library yet again?
If I could figure out what tablet contains the information of the monsters that we are dealing with now from the other dimension, perhaps there's a reasoning of how to deal with that, rather than using witch magic.
Could your professor not help with that when he arrives tomorrow?
Yes, and when you go to somebody with a problem, the best thing to do is try and have some solutions prepared, ready for that, rather than presenting a problem to somebody. It shows initiative.
I mean, I'm fine with going to the library, but I would prefer that I get this item so that at least I know that part's done, and I've done my part in helping the group. Assemble the proverbial Infinity Gauntlet so that it is then used against us. But
That's an interesting name you call it.
yeah, I'm. I guess I'm still. I don't know. Maybe it's just me being ever questioning of the of the situation that we're in right now. But I'm still unsure that Miss Court is being completely. I mean, she definitely seems to be telling the truth, but I can't help but shake it. But I would like to get this item.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not one for body language. I can't read a room. It's not something that I'm skilled at. When it comes to symbology and whatnot, that's more where my focus lies. But I trust the group, and you and Nora seem pretty comfortable in sharing information with Miss Court. So
Yeah.
I'll follow your lead on that one. Whether or not she can do magic, I don't know. I mean, I'd love to ask her to give me a demo one day. Perhaps she can show me something.
Yeah, it appeared when we were leaving that I saw something, but I don't know exactly what I saw.
What do you mean you saw something? Like when I left, she did something?
Do
Or
you
when
recall the last few things that you may have said to her, or maybe a question you might have asked her?
I mean, I asked her if I could study her books. Then we said goodbye. She said perhaps in the future, but that's it.
Okay.
Why? What did you see?
Oh, it was nothing. I may have
Yeah.
just been a little too aroused from my pot of coffee this morning. May have
I looked
just
down at his pants.
aroused, maybe not being the best word, but may have just have had too much caffeine this morning. Maybe I was just seeing things and got excited and thought maybe I seen something, but I didn't. But I'd say for now, I'd maybe you go grab your get fitted for a suit, and then I grab this
Yeah.
item I needed to grab, and then I guess we could swing by the library if you were still wanting to.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I know I seem focused on the old suit malarkey now, but I need to get the tailor time to fit something. And the dinner's this evening. I'm probably going to be getting something baggy anyway and looking scraggly as normal.
Well,
Unless
I mean,
I'm
you
a
should.
common size.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a believer in not getting something that fits you just now, but maybe you get a little comfortable in the future, and you'd still like it to fit. Then maybe.
I like the way you're thinking. Yeah, that's a potential for sure.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, with Miss Court though, I need to see her do the magic before I can really believe it. But the symbology down there, the books that she had on the shelf, all signs pointed to the strange indeed. Like,
Yeah.
and obviously we've seen the zombies come alive now. But I wonder if we should get some salt, stock up on salt, because I know worms don't like salt, and these things all seem to be made of it.
Yeah, they appear to not like excessive amounts of sunlight either.
I mean, is there any way that we can replicate sunlight?
I don't know.
Any devices?
I'm just. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, if you guys have a little more to say, I was gonna say we'll cut back over to Galloway going up the stairs.
I mean, it was an 80-minute walk. So.
We had to talk
We got
about
a lot of
something.
time. You guys have a rousing chat on your way across, walking across the bridge, which will give Galloway lots of time to go and explore and see what's going on in Lucy's apartment, which is where we'll go next. So Galloway, you head up the fire escape and get up to the 6th of 8 floors and find where there is clearly broken glass shattered outwards onto the open area of the open area of the fire escape.
Definitely as I get closer, or as I get farther up, I want to make sure I'm being as quiet as possible.
Give me a stealth roll.
Okay.
Whatever that is. I think it's stealth.
Very bad.
Unfortunately, the fire escape is pretty creaky. There's not much of an easy way to stealth. You are making some noise as you're going up it.
Okay. I don't want to make myself immediately visible. I want to try to peek through the window to see if there's anybody still in the room, like any of the cops looking around still.
Peering up over the ledge and into the room, you see that there clearly is shattered glass, as I mentioned. And you look inwards and find a Spartanly adorned apartment, a handful of small green plants, a one-room bachelor, no bathroom, with a small kitchenette and a bed on one side with a small sitting table and chair next to the kitchen area. You see the door open and falling slightly off its hinges where it's clearly been broken. You spot the side of a policeman who is standing just outside the door, but looking away from it into the hall. But do not see any policemen inside. He's outside the door, but the door is open.
So how far is it from the window to the door?
About 15, 20 feet most. It's a pretty small room.
Okay. Is the window open, or is it like shattered and like it's down?
It is shattered and down.
Would there be a way I could crawl through, or is it like a circle and there's like glass on the bottom?
There's clearly bloody glass. It would be pretty dangerous to try and crawl through. It looks like, based on even an unexpert look at this, that something or someone broke out through this window from inside.
What?
Okay. Yeah, you did say the glass was on the fire escape.
It is. And the door is broken inwards on the inside of the apartment.
Well, I figured the thugs broke the door. That was my assumption there. But they were found in the apartment. Okay, something's not making sense here, but we'll continue. Can I reach in and like try to open the window from the outside?
Yes, I will say you can certainly do that. You can very carefully and slowly open the window, and I will say you'll do so without even needing to make a stealth check. That this is non-trivial, or is trivial. That this is something that you can certainly do as long as you are slow and careful about doing it.
Yeah, definitely. And once it's up, I want to gingerly step into the room and then immediately get out of like line of sight of the door. So like if the cop turned around, he wouldn't just immediately see me.
All right, so you gingerly step into the room and don't see the cop move. And you look around and you see the signs of chaos within the room. That there is shattered glass from a mirror on one side of the room next to the bed. The bed itself is a mess of covers. The linen's covered in splotches of blood. There is various plates and dinnerware shattered across the room, and a kettle that's been thrown upon the ground. Various signs of hand and footprints are caked upon the ground. in dried blood and other refuse that's been carried about the room from different kinds of food and other items that have been smashed.
Yeah. So where is the mirror in the room?
It is next to the bed on the far side of the room. You've stepped into what is essentially the kitchenette, just to your right, where there's a very small amount of counter space and a small two-burner oven. There is a small number, a few cupboards and a small fridge for storing food. There is, as I mentioned, no bathroom. The only door in the room is going out into the hall, where there would be a shared bathroom at the end of the hall. You'd be familiar with this kind of building. On the left-hand side is the bed and a small sitting area with the mirror that is shattered on the far side wall next to the bed.
Okay, I'll slowly move over to the bed, where the bed is. Trying to make sure that I can't be seen from the door still, and then go over to the mirror and just like look around the mirror to look. Does it look like? How does it look like the mirror was broken? Is basically what I'm trying to figure out.
I mean, so yeah, you could go and you take a look over, walking very carefully across the room, so as not to raise any more noise. Give me what would be the most logical thing. I mean, just like, is there a generic investigation? I think there is. Maybe not. Well, I guess for lack of something that is a most obviously appropriate way of investigating it, we'll just say using your own general level of skill, our understanding of the just general world, that this is clearly this mirror was shattered from an impact in the center of it, that it appears to be broken in a pattern outwards from one central point that had smashed into it.
I can assume that was a punch.
Yes, or kick or something thrown at it that you can't tell a heck of a lot from it, but like some objects, which could have been a punch or could have been another object, like human-related pressure was what smashed it from the center.
Can I tell where the body was found? Like, is there like a pool of blood somewhere in the room?
Yes, the sheets in the bed look like it is where the body was found. The bedding is what has the most blood on it.
Okay. Can I look just under the bed? See if there's anything under the bed.
If you're really starting to peer around and go up and down and not just creep about a bit, give me another stealth roll.
Okay. Hopefully this one's better. Much better.
That's a good time. You do so extremely quietly. Looking under the bed, you see underneath that there is there is a trunk, like a travel case, that is stored underneath there.
Would there be enough room for me to open it while it's under the bed, or would I have to like drag it out to really look
You have to
inside?
pull it out.
Okay, I'll
Which I will say you can do with your stealth roll if
Okay,
you want
yeah.
to pull it out.
very quietly pull it out.
Pulling it out, you open it up, and a well-packed bag that looks like it was ready for travel. That is most likely Lucy Stone's. It is filled with various women's clothing and toiletries and other things.
Nothing else of interest in the trunk?
Nothing particularly unusual unless you're really going to rip the thing apart, which would be more than any stealth roll could cover. But peering through it and flipping around inside, it's a well-packed women's trunk for travel.
Okay. Yeah, I won't spend too much time. I'll gingerly close it and push it back under the bed. Can I see like footprints, like bloody footprints around the room that would suggest how the two thugs were moving about?
Give me a spot hidden roll.
Okay.
Taking a look around for basically hidden clues in terms of the trackings on the ground and so on, and the blood smears. You see some signs of entry from the front. Obviously, as I mentioned, the door being broken down, and that there are some signs of blood smeared tracks from two people entering the room. But you see a much more obvious set of both bloody footprints with no shoes on, as well as bloody handprints, both across the bedding and on the ground, through the kitchenette and out the window, that then continue on down the fire escape you already see.
We've already looked at the alley, right? We looked at the alley before we came up here.
Yes, although you guys failed on your alley check down below in terms of spot hidden, but you did spot on the actual banister, obviously, once going up onto it, that there were some clear signs of blood splotches.
But like we didn't see a body down there or anything.
No, but you didn't see like a body down there or anything, or even an obvious passage. But of course, there was a heavy rainfall last night, so like the actual ground at the base of the alley was still relatively wet, and would have been easily washed free if there had been obvious tracks or further blood splotches.
Is there any like obvious storage, like where she would have kept something, like I don't know, like books or anything like that?
There's a small set of cabinetry drawers, which would be more intended for clothing, but certainly could have stored other things in them, as well as a side table on one side of the bed. And then the small kitchenette has some closed cabinetry.
I'll check the side table next to the bed.
You find a small book of popular pulp stories, detective stories, that is put away inside the side table.
I want to like pull the drawer out as far as it will go and see if there's like any hidden compartment or something.
I would say, well, using that you've already done some rolls, you will take a close look around, but you do not find anything hidden away in there.
Hidden away
In the drawer, like looking for like secret compartments and stuff. There, yeah, you don't find any special secret compartments or any other items are hidden there.
I'm not sure what else to look at. I feel like there's something I'm just missing. Something about this scene doesn't add up.
I don't know, like out of character, backseat, whatevering. I would try and follow the trail out the window because whatever that was might still be around. I don't know what else there would be here still.
I'll quickly look through the kitchen area. If there's like any like pots or pans that will like obviously make noise, I'm not gonna move. But like just opening the drawers and just scanning briefly to see if there's anything.
Doing so continually to be very, very quiet. You find a sparsely filled kitchenette with only a few dishes and some small amount of cutlery and cooking utensils. The fridge itself has very little in it. Clearly, Lucy was not planning to stay long at this point, based on what was available, what was left in her apartment. You carefully check through, and while you basically don't find anything particularly meaningful that is left behind, obviously the place has been picked over by the previous investigators. I will say that the most obvious thing in terms of any kind of meaningful clues within the place is the clear signs of struggle that were upon the bed and smashed mirror, followed by the bloody trail heading to and then out the window.
Okay. I guess I'll just kind of follow the trail with my eyes and look at the window. I will step back out onto the fire escape and try to close the window again to try to hide that I was here. And then I want to look on the rail on the fire escape itself on the outside. Is there any blood or anything there?
Yeah, so if you look closely along the railing on the outside, you find a thick canvas or a ribbon of canvas, white canvas, that also seems to be mottled with dried blood.
So is it like just a strip of canvas or like a whole canvas? Just a strip?
Like a strip of canvas.
I will take the strip and just I'll like look over it a little bit to see if there's like anything obvious on it, like I can see, other than the blood. But
Pulling it off, you find at one far end of it the end of a clip that is sewn into the end of the strip.
a clip?
Yeah, like a hook and eye, sort of like a belt clip.
So like it was a belt? Or
Like similar to a belt, yes.
okay. So this was just hanging over the.
Yeah, over the railing on that level.
I want to. Is there a building next to this?
Yes, there's another apartment building across the alleyway, which is probably about 10 feet across, which does not have a fire escape adjacent. There is a series of windows that are along there.
I just want to look at the wall. Like if something like ran out and jumped, like the trajectory they would take, I want to look at like that area of where the wall would be, like if something would have hit the wall or something.
It would have had to jump pretty far for that to be the case. But if possible, then yeah, you look and you do not see any signs of something having hit that wall.
Okay. I'll take the canvas belt thing and just put it in my bag, and then I guess I'll head down the railing. This head down the fire escape. This time checking each like level of the railing as I go down.
You find various signs of blood smeared and on both the footholds and also the handholds of the fire escape going down. Not terribly obviously everywhere. It seems to be sporadic, which is why you would not have been particularly obvious as you climbed back up originally. But looking out for it specifically, it does look like somebody who was bleeding had descended or ascended this ladder.
I think I had an idea. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna meet back up with right. I'll like wait. I'll like come down and just kind of like peer around the corner and try to get his attention.
Right, you see a hand wave from Galloway around the corner.
Like through the window? Or
Yeah.
okay, gotcha.
Oh, you were just like just at the edge of like the little like stoop of this apartment building.
Well, officer, I've taken enough of your time. Stay safe out there. And I'll make my way back. Rendezvous.
I'll relay the things that I found in the apartment and say there wasn't much to go off of, but I'll pull out the canvas. I may be making a leap here, but this could have come off of a straitjacket.
The door's smashed in, the window's smashed out,
Yes.
and they caught those two
I don't
mobsters.
think it was the two men.
And her hand was bitten in the same way. I'd assume that she'd gone mad.
I think we should check with the asylum.
All right, with that, we're going to cut back over to Watts, Baker, and Brady. We will say that Watts and Brady, as you are making your way across the bridge and getting to the north side of town, it's getting towards lunchtime, and you hear a crier ring out with the noon edition of the local newspaper. If you didn't know, in old-timey times, there were many editions of the newspaper at different times of day with different news related to only a recent period of time. It's kind of crazy that we only have one newspaper a day anymore, but we have the internet now, so it changes things. Anyway, a little historical thing aside. Sorry, find my notes. The boy with the newspapers on the side yells out, "Extra, extra! The noon edition brings horrifying news. Waitress brutally slayed in the night. 2 men from Atlantic City being held for questioning. Insane artist escapes asylum."
Dun dun dun.
So yeah, the library. The tablets down in the library, Brady, have got so much. What did that guy say?
Yeah.
Did you hear what I heard?
Yeah. I definitely did. I'm wondering if that has anything to do. I don't know. Maybe I'm putting too many things together, but that's that's something everyone needs to know about for sure.
Sure. Let's. Kid, how much for the paper?
A dime.
Toss him a dime.
He gives you the paper. Reading it, you find much of the details you're already out of character familiar with in terms of the Lucy Stone being killed. It names her and mentions that 2 men from Atlantic City have been held for questioning. It then notes that during the previous night's storm that knocked out the power at the asylum, that there was one Cecil Hunter who somehow freed himself from his restraints, accosted the staff that came to check on him, and then fled into the night and the ensuing chaos.
Ensuing any pictures?
There are no photos.
Cartoon section. Anything about mole people?
There is not. One day there will be.
Worth a try.
I was just checking for my friend, Mr. Wright.
It's 9:45. I think that's a good time for a very short break.
Roger.
Let's take 5 minutes. All right, so we left off with Brady and Watts, who had walked by a newspaper seller who had let them know that there had been one Cecil Hunter who escaped from the asylum during the night, and also had published a story about the death of Lucy Stone.
So yeah, so you said you're back with Brady and Watts, right?
Yep, I pressed the wrong button. Yeah, let's say you guys obviously were still on your way to, on the one side, obtain a tuxedo, and the other side, obtain some kind of metal disc that would work for what Amelia Clark needs.
So I guess these Atlanta thugs really did have it in them. I guess Nora and I were in a lot more danger than we previously anticipated. Killing this.
Possibly, but that that pales in comparison to I think the other part of the paper that's talking about Cecil. I definitely think we need to hurry now. Grab our items and then get back to the group. I may not be as keen on going to the library. I don't know if that's where we part ways at that point, but I definitely think that once we get our items, we need to get back to the group and let them know if they don't already know.
Well, I think the library can wait. There's been a murder, another one. So,
Yeah.
and also if Cecil is on the loose again, he's probably going to be looking for the papers. He was adamant that he wanted to destroy them before.
Yeah. Yep.
How far away are we? How long have we been walking? Sorry, we crossed the bridge.
You're now pretty close. You are about, respectively, both 10 minutes away from your destinations now that you're on the north side of town.
Is it possible to flag a horse and carriage down just to speed it up?
Yeah, absolutely. Horse and carriage or a motorized taxi, both are available at this point in time, depending on which is around.
Yeah.
You guys can certainly make your way more expediently to your respective destinations. I will say that it will take each of you probably 30 or 40 minutes at your respective destinations to obtain a tuxedo, a loaner with Abner Wick's card to dress you up, and on the other side, to spend a bit of time in the market, taking a look at various wares to find a plain pewter plate that could easily be engraved. It's rough, thick cast metal that could easily be engraved upon due to the nature of its coating.
So Brady, I'll meet you at the market, or you meet me here. Depends who we think's going to take the longest.
I definitely think you'll take longer, so I can meet you back here.
Meet me back here, and then we'll get a ride back to Galloway's house.
Yep, sounds good to me.
In the market, if you do see a food vendor, can you grab me lunch? I'm famished.
Yeah, I'll see about grabbing something for both of us. No worries there. I'll bring you back something.
Let me know how much.
The new street food that has just arrived from the West Coast is tamales. Tamales are extremely popular at this point in time, and there have even been known to be gang wars over the best spots to have your tamale stand on the street.
That's legit. That's real.
That's actually a historical fact, 100%.
That's crazy.
Tamales are very good.
Yeah, so I'm not totally 100% sure on the exact timing. I could be slightly early on this or slightly late on this. But like turn of the century, like tamales made their way from California to the East Coast, and there were like actual legit gang warfare over like tamale stands and who had control over them and where they were located.
Wow, that's actually kind of crazy.
And it's not a street. When have you ever seen a street vendor who sells tamales?
Right.
All right,
Excellent.
so
Yeah, we'll do all that stuff and then head back to Galloway's.
So I'll say that takes you to the early part of the afternoon, like 1, 2 o'clock. You'll be arriving back in Galloway's. I will say then similarly, that would be more or less the timing of Nora returning to the same place at the same time. We will cut back over to Galloway and Wright, who are at Lucy's apartment. They are getting on to just before lunch. You guys have some time before you would be potentially meeting back up with the group at Galloway's house or doing something completely different and missing them.
I would say, with this evidence, I think we should meet back with everyone quickly. We had spoken briefly about purchasing small firearms. That is something we could do before we meet up.
I got rid of mine a few years back. It seems appropriate to, yeah.
Well, I would say without too much trouble, I believe you guys have enough money to be able to go and just buy some weapons. I'm going to take a quick look, but I don't think a decent handgun is terribly expensive. What is your respective buying power?
Spending level is
Mine's $10.
same.
45 revolver is $30. A 45 automatic is $40. So you'll have to dip into your actual funds to make those purchases. I guess just make a note somewhere, so if we have to come back to it, we can. Because I think like you guys would both have that kind of extra like spending of money in terms of having like some amount of money to draw upon in terms of savings, but you will be doing so to be able to make that offhand purchase.
Would that be like the cheapest handgun?
So you could go cheaper. You get a 25 Derringer for $12. You could get a 22 short automatic for $25. A 32 or a 765 millimeter automatic for $20. Or a revolver. Woo! Sneeze. I'm sorry. Sorry, $15 for a revolver, $20 for an automatic. Basically, you're talking at like the lowest end, $12, at the highest end of $40. I'm gonna see blow my nose really quick.
I'll just mark something off here, and we'll meet up with the group. But I'm just purchasing a handgun and some ammo.
Yeah.
I'll look at it in a couple minutes.
One that you decide to purchase, because it may make a difference in terms of the amount of damage that you can do.
I think Luis would just go with like the Derringer. Something real small.
Yeah, the Derringer is very small. It is like a one-shot 1d6, but like it's a very small weapon that's easy to keep on you and pull out at a need.
Wright buys the smallest revolver they got, so the 32 revolver.
Yeah, 32 revolver you can get for $15. With 1d8 damage, 15 yards, has 3 rounds. Or sorry, no, has 6 rounds total. It can do 3 rounds in a fast fire.
Hold on. I didn't realize the Derringer was one and done.
Yeah, you'd have to reload it each time.
What's the keyword for ammo? Because ammo doesn't bring it up.
Oh, I think we don't really do ammo in this, honestly. Like, it's more of just like, did you have the that you can't fire forever. You should, if you're doing like automatic weapon or something like that, then let's figure out ammo. But like for your 6-round whatever revolver, then we can say that you could probably carry around a single case of ammo with you.
Okay.
That falls into the area of being like something you don't need to count how much money it costs you to buy.
No, it's under ammunition, not ammo, for reference.
Oh, wait.
I guess I'd go with the 32 as well. 32 revolver.
Alrighty. Well, so you are now packing heat. You both have revolvers of limited stopping power, but something that's a little bit more concealable than carrying around a rifle.
Oh yeah, I would
Yeah.
have probably looked for a holster when I was downtown too. Like,
I think that's certainly something you could ask the tailor for, and if you have enough money for it, it wouldn't be crazy expensive.
I feel like Nora would probably have like a thigh holster, but she didn't specifically write it down. So
Yeah, I
Oh,
suppose
yeah, here's ammunition.
I forgot to do any possessions at the start, so we're going fresh.
Yeah, I mean, basically, as long as you're okay with me making rulings as to what makes sense to me that you may or may not have had, then so be it. I don't think we have to necessarily go through like a written roll of making sure we list every damn thing.
Streamline.
okay, then yes, Nora picks up her very roomy dress that gives plenty of space to have a gun underneath the skirts.
Oh, stuff. I don't see anything for a holster though.
yeah, I couldn't find holster either.
A sweatshirt's 98 cents, and a silk tie is 50 cents. Like leather belt's $1.35. Like, how much more of those? All right, where were we? So in terms of timing, yeah, we've got Galloway and Wright who are doing a little bit of shopping and making their way back. Unless there's anything else you guys specifically want to try and squeeze into this period of time, let's say you guys all arrive back shortly after lunch, say 1 o'clock in the afternoon. As you've been doing your various rounds, the winds have been significantly picking up. That they are blasting across town, making shutters flap in and out and knocking people off their feet who are caught unawares. While there is no major clouds covered rolling in, the wind itself is something somewhat terrible and seems to gust unexpectedly, catching various things and throwing them across the streets.
Just after everybody else has met up, Nora arrives looking very disgruntled with a very upset looking chicken in a cage. Just like, let's do this.
What does the weather say in the newspaper?
The weather says clear skies and notes mild temperatures and a little bit of wind, but does not particularly say that it expects to have severe windstorms.
So when the group gets together, I'm going to say, you will not believe, well, maybe you guys will believe Wright and Galloway, but Nora, you will not believe what's in this newspaper. And I relay the information on barmaid or bar wench death, silent escaped, 2 guys
Poor
arrested
Lucy.
from Atlanta. Yeah.
That is rather upsetting to hear, but if Cecil is free, we should perhaps worry more about Amelia Court at this stage. It is maybe a good idea to find her as soon as possible.
I was going. I will show the canvas strip that I have and say, I found this at Lucy's home. I believe it was Cecil who murdered her.
You what?
Yeah, this.
When go ahead.
I'll say this strap. I believe it came off of Stray Jacket. He- I'll look at right and say you had a look at her hands, right? You can describe.
When we arrived at the apartment, the police were already there. We were too late, and they were carting off her body. Uh, when she was getting loaded, her hand slipped out of the sheet, and the back of her hand was chewed away, just like Hunter's. I didn't draw the connection until, uh, in fact, I didn't draw the connection at all. But with Galloway finding that strap in the back,
You think Cecile did that?
the door was broken in and the window broken out from the inside.
And the two thugs found in the apartment. So someone left.
Okay, so do you think Cecile chewed off the back of her hands, or she chewed the back of her hands?
I'm not sure on that point. Um, there was a mirror in her room that was shattered. Whether done
Another
by
shattered
her
mirror.
or whoever.
Whether he was involved, I'm quite certain that he's dangerous.
Yeah, whether he actually murdered her or not, he was definitely there.
Did they say what she died from? Like, was it because these thugs, these Atlantic thugs, they were locked and loaded.
They described her as butchered.
That doesn't sound like the Atlanta thugs, unless they wanted to get information. Right, Nora?
No, they seem more the type to shoot first or take prisoners, perhaps. But to simply beat a woman to death is not what you would expect from men of their type.
Holy crap.
But what you said, Miss Baker, I think we should try to find Miss Court as soon as possible. He seemed to not like her when we mentioned her name.
Indeed, if he is caught up in this enough and perhaps acting under the influence of the creatures beyond, then surely their first target would be the one who is most likely to stop them.
So how about
We broke the lock on the cemetery place. Perhaps we should replace that.
She did say
She
that
did say she was heading to the library.
yeah, she said she was going to
See,
be on.
I knew it.
she said she was going to be on campus. I think the majority of us should go find her, and maybe I can try to borrow a flute from the music department and meet with you all.
Do we have everything else? I have the sacrifice. She holds up sort of cage distastefully.
and then I'll just prop up the metal disc that I had found, or something resembling of what she would want.
And that was it, right? Sacrifice, the metal disc, and a flute. That's all we needed.
That's right. And the Starstone of Minar. Sorry, and the Starstone of Minar, which you guys have. It is now shortly after 1 p.m.
What time's the party?
The party was, I think, 8 p.m., 7 p.m.
Yeah, I think it was
And
like
then-
8ish. It was a late-ish dinner.
And Galloway lives near campus, right? So would it be feasible that we drive to the library, or would we be walking?
Walking would make the most sense. You are not far from the campus. It's like a 15-20 minute walk.
Well, I say we head over to the library right now. And by the way, Brady, those tamales were delicious.
Yeah, a bit spicy for me, but I can't argue there. They were really good.
If you're not used to the spice, the bathroom will be used to you later. But
I hope not. But yeah, I guess we better find Miss Court and get these items to her.
And
I'll. Sorry, go ahead, please.
I was just gonna say, I'd rather not go alone if someone would come with me to the music department.
It's probably more important now than ever that we stick in pairs.
More than happy to come escort you, Professor Galloway. I'm a terrible shot anyway. I'm gonna load up my pistol because I know I haven't loaded it since I shot those 3 shots.
So who has the Star Stone of Minar?
Didn't we?
I think
We never went back to Amelia, did we?
No, you're holding on to it. So I think the last person I know, Nora, for certain had it.
Yeah, she would have held on to it unless someone else specifically took it. And as people mention, you know, being prepared with their weapons and stuff, Nora will just sort of look around between Brady and Wright, like, one of you take this, and pull out her gun.
I'll
Like holding the chicken aloft.
Oh,
I think between me and Wright, I'd probably be the most comfortable holding a chicken, so I'll go over there and grab it from you.
Yeah, I feel like Brady has a little bit of like a good proper upbringing of having to deal with animals and stuff like that.
All right, so
Then-
me and Watts off to the music department.
we'll meet you in the library. We'll try and get the flutes, and then here's the updated newspaper for today. Any of these writers that you recommend ignoring? Just a bit of banter.
Are there tabloids that are just garbage tier on the list that I know of?
This is a relatively reputable newspaper, and there is little embellishment or otherwise. There is a lot of political hackery. It is clearly a leftist newspaper that is very vocal about the rights of workers and the proper place of unionization. But other than that, there's little in the way of offensive news coverage.
I'd just say, as far as crime goes, this newspaper tends to be pretty factual.
Awesome.
It is another interesting area of history around, like, people are like, oh, the newspapers, they used to be so factual, and like only today are they so politically whatever. It's like, no, it was a lot worse. Like, it's bad right now, but it was worse before. Just in kind of a different way. Anyway, yes.
My picture on the character sheet, by chance, the ring on my hand, is that the ring that I found?
Sure, why not? I like it.
Right.
Not quite what I envisioned, but I'm down with it. It's a signet ring of some kind. It's got some kind of strange sigil on it.
I'm gonna just slip it on anyway, so I don't lose it. Just I know it's there and it's safe. Not thinking of any ramifications of magics because I don't know about that kind of stuff.
You slip it on and you feel a underlying sense of certainty. Everything is right with the world. It fills you with a certain je ne sais quoi, I suppose, something that makes you feel all right and otherwise relaxed, more so than you would be otherwise.
Do I increase my luck points by 30?
No, you do not increase your luck points. You feel like you increase your luck points, though.
Okay.
You feel good about your luck points.
Right, off we go then to the music department. I'm pretty sure we'll be able to find something there, no problem at all. And we'll see you guys in the library.
All right. Well, I would say let's do Watson Galloway heading to the music department first.
I think it's this way, right?
Actually, it's this way. I'll lead us to the music building.
Great. Yeah. So yeah, basically, so Watts tries to take you off in quite the wrong direction, and you grab him by the arm before pulling him towards the north side of the quad, where the clearly, obviously, a music recital hall is based on the style of the building. And entering it, you can hear the sound of practicing students from various rooms.
I'll just see if I can find like a teacher in their office.
Heading to the top floor, you find the main offices for the music department, and there are various teachers, both in the study area and their individual offices. I would say you're most familiar with one Professor Professor Johnson, a woman who is a particularly adept in the woodwinds section.
I'll just go to her office, knock on the door if it's closed.
And I'll just go the opposite direction to approach a kid who's holding a flute and ask him how much they bought the flute for.
Knocking on the door, Galloway, you hear the voice call out, and usher you inwards. Watts, you approach a random student and ask him how much his flute is, or how much his flute is worth, and he responds, "This is a tuba, mister."
I'm pretty sure it's a flute. Anybody with a flute, kid?
He's like, "There's no flautist around here."
I'll head to the office then. I was going to also try and purchase a flute at the same time as Galloway sorts a flute out too, so we'd end up having two flutes.
So yeah, you after being rebuffed by the student who is carrying around something that's clearly not a flute, you return back to the office and find Galloway having entered and is speaking with Professor Johnson.
Well, it's afternoon, you said?
Yes, early afternoon.
I'll say, good afternoon, Professor Johnson. I was wondering if I could possibly borrow a flute.
He says, "Well, that's very unusual request. Don't often have members of the history department coming over to here to borrow instruments. Can I trust that you'll safely return it?"
Yes, of course. I'll not have it, but a few days.
Well, here, take this writ down to Dean in the storage locker in the basement. I'm sure he can find something for you. There's plenty of extra instruments down there. And she writes on a small slip of paper and hands it to you.
I'll say, much appreciated.
To buy a flute off a kid outside.
And then I'll leave and go to where she said to go.
Yeah, so you have no problem heading downstairs into the basement. You find the storage locker area where the unused instruments, unallocated instruments are located. Handing in the writ of request, the octogenarian keeper of the instruments looks at it with myopic eyes. Carefully steadying his glasses, he looks very closely and says, "A flute? For the history department? Oh, he doesn't actually ask you any questions. He slowly turns around, very slowly, and he walks into the back room, easing the door open. You hear various sounds of things being knocked down and cursing coming from the back that can't quite be made out. Before about 15 minutes later, he returns with a small carrying case and says, "Will a piccolo do?"
I'll look at um, Watson and say, what do you think? A piccolo?
No, when you're dealing of things of a specific nature, they definitely have to be specific to the request. Any deviations could result in catastrophic.
I'll
means.
turn back to the man and say, unfortunately, we do need a flute specifically.
I don't know what kind of history you're looking at trying to do here, but I'll tell you, in my day, a piccolo was a very fine flute. But if you say so, and he goes and totters back into the back before you hear another long string of cursing and noises of smashing as things get moved around in the back room. And he returns and says, "All right, here's a proper flute. But mind you, this one's for experts. It's got the little holes in the top of the keys, so you need to know what you're doing with this thing."
Of course, and we'll have it back in just a few days as pristine as we found it.
Says, "Indeed, make sure that you do. I've got your name down here, Mrs. Halloway."
You got it.
"Indeed, great, great. I'll have it noted down here. We'll be in touch."
Of course. And thank you for your time.
You are now in possession of a piccolo. No, it's a flute.
Okay.
I'm gonna say it's a funny looking flute. Choice is, and they're big things like you put on your shoulder.
No, flutes are quite small. But let's meet back up with the others.
All right. Shit, pressing the wrong button. All right, sorry. Yes. What I was actually trying to say is we will switch over to Wright, Brady, and Baker. We're heading over to the library to speak with them.
We make our way.
Sorry, I was making notes myself. So you head over to the library. It's a little farther across campus, the other side of the quad, so not very far. Entering the library, you find yourself in a bustling hive of activity in the midst of the day. It is, of course, a Thursday. It is a Thursday, so many students doing things at this point of the year. Various kinds of research. Making your way to the back, only some of you are okayed for entrance into the lower archives, where you would no doubt surmise that Amelia is located. In fact, I believe just Brady.
Yeah.
Oh, crap! Yeah, we didn't even think about that, did we?
Send him again.
No, you did not.
Well,
Well,
let's
I'm
make sure
probably-
that she's safe down there. At least she should be relatively well protected. Let her know what she we have what she's looking for, and we'll be waiting outside. And
Okay.
Nora will make a hasty exit to the outdoors and begin smoking.
So Nora smokes outside. Right, what are you doing?
I'm gonna tag along until someone tries to stop me.
All right. What's a good check for this?
Do we actually come across somebody?
Yes. So 100% at the main entrance to the back archives, not the lower closed archives. There is handful of different people who are sitting at desks who work for the library and the university. I will say for that, you can either give me a stealth roll or you could give me a, I guess, charm roll.
I tag along. I do my best impression of someone that totally is supposed to be there. And whenever she asks is it a he or she?
We're going to be a mix of different people who are working there who may or may not try and question you.
There's multiple?
Well, so this is on your way, just simply going through this, like the back office area to get into the main area of the archives. So this is area 1 before you try and get into area 2 that is restricted to you.
Oh boy. We just kind of waltzed. Last time we walked into like this main area, so this is past that already. There's like a kind of a main area kind of out in the back where you'd bring books to that you would be collecting from the restricted section. We've already made it past that.
So you are trying to make your way into the like main restricted section that is just simply normally like students and faculty in general, and then there is the like closed restricted section. You might get some light argument or questioning from people wandering on back into the first section, which is pretty likely easily get by. Getting into the restricted section, there is somebody specifically posted on the far door that is actually devoted to trying to cross-question people and prevent entrance from people who are not allowed to be down there.
Okay. Well, either way, he's basically just gonna do his best. Oops, I forgot my my pass routine with just a big ol' smile. His best $10 smile, whatever.
Give me a charm roll for the first area.
Son of a bitch. This library is closed off to me forever.
The woman who is in the seat nearest the door says, "Oh, I'm very sorry. I don't recognize you. You'll just have to go back and get your pass. I'm sure it'll only take a moment to pop back to the offices. I'm sorry, but you have to understand, of course, rules are rules."
He just accepts defeat at this point. This library has been a persistent thorn.
Closed off to you at every turn.
Is it Smith, the one that gave me my pass?
Yes.
Okay.
Professor Smith is the lead head librarian.
Okay. I guess I'm gonna try and vouch for him, and then just mention that we were through here just a few days ago, and I was
Just
given
tell them he's the one taking care of the chicken.
I totally forgot about the chicken.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I'm just like forgetting that I have a chicken in my arms. Poor Colonel.
If you've got the proper pass, you can come in with the chicken. But if you do not have the proper pass, you definitely can't come in with the chicken.
Wow.
No unauthorized chickens.
I guess would I like retroactively given this chicken to somebody else before I come down here? Because I don't know that I would be able to bring a chicken into a library and then into the restricted like archives.
You could ask in retroactively that whether Nora can hold on to the chicken if she's staying outside and smoking.
Fine.
Please take good care of Colonel.
He has only days to live at most.
I have to make sure they're good ones. Okay. All right. With that happening, and no longer having a chicken in my hands, I'll just pull out my pass and talk about Dr. Smith giving me this pass, and the matter at hand is very urgent, and we're needing to get a hold of Miss Amelia Court really quick, and there's some very pressing news, and it would help that Mr. Wright be there as well. And I guess maybe
Yeah, I'm gonna say this is a persuasion roll.
persuasion. Okay. Oof. This is gonna be
It's a long shot.
God. Yep.
I don't think that would have even worked on your charm or whatever it is. You have something that's really high. I have a cheat sheet here somewhere. Oh, I can look at your cheat. Oh yes, you are charming, but I don't feel like you're being charming here.
Yeah. No, I would definitely be trying to persuade them.
Well, rules are rules. You're on your own, Brady. You can descend if you wish into the depths of the library on your own without Nora or Wright back.
This is like the most efficient filter, like ever. Filtered one out at the freaking door. Filtered one out at the first level. I'll just wait within like eye shot, just kind of not really giving a glare, but keeping an eye on the desk.
Alrighty.
Listen.
Unless you're not doing so, Brady, you descend up into the lower levels of Arkham or Miskatonic University's library.
I'm gonna ready my flashlight.
All right. So finding your way down, which level do you go to? There's 3 levels.
I guess with the closest one. So, is it then 1, 2, 3, or is it 3,
Yeah.
2? Okay,
1, 2,
I don't
3.
know how.
The second level was where you had previously found her.
Okay. I could go just to 2, but then I'd have to go back up to look at. Okay, I'll look at the first available level, and then I'll go from there, I guess.
Opening the first available level, you see the archives head off into the distance underground. It's obviously a substantial area that has been hollowed out for this archive. You see a few islands of light, as well as the lit up central lane down the main corridor. So there are a few people who are currently down here doing research.
Okay.
I feel like we don't need to necessarily go through the rigmarole of like describing you going through each level. Like presumably you will check each level until you find her.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, because it doesn't require any like rules or anything. You'll eventually find her. I will say that if you check the first level, you will look around and find various people who are studying different things. They are not Amelia Clark. You will find her on the second level, back at the same seat that she was at before, where you previously found her.
Okay.
I'm gonna blow my nose. I'll be right back.
I just didn't want to go to the one particular area that we found her on the second floor and then be like, oh my gosh, she's not here, and then turn around and then there's Cecil Hunter.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. But if there's a lot of people to get through to the archives, then I'm sure they would have seen.
Yeah, you would think, but then how did he get out of a psych ward?
Power is out.
Better security at the library.
They probably
I don't know. The barriers between like realms are weak right now. I wouldn't take anything for granted.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
So, finding Amelia at her desk, you approach, and she looks up, recognizing you.
So I wouldn't have the paper on me, right? That was you that paid. That was Watts that paid for it, so he would have had it. I guess I'm just going to ask her. You want the good news or the bad news?
She furrows her brow and says, "I suppose bad news first."
Well, it appears upon me and Mr. Watts, our walk earlier today, we heard and saw in the newspaper that Cecil Hunter had escaped the ward. And not only that, but it appears also that Lucy Stone has been murdered.
Ah, such a naive young thing, but she meant well, I suppose, in her own way. It's unfortunate we are all done here. Cecil, well, that is unusual. Who knows if he has been aided by the horror that we seek to banish in his escape, or if he simply has acted upon his own insanity and volition.
It would probably be wise to assume the worst. Um, we had also talked to him previously, and upon mentioning your name, he wasn't very pleasant. So it would be definitely in your best interest to take some precaution.
I will be careful based on your warning, of course, but I've certainly been careful so far. With the dangers that await us in this endeavor, that there's certainly more to be feared than simply one insane mortal that stands potentially in our way. That being said, he is probably drawn to the papers. I would suggest that you go and check on the mausoleum to see that it is intact and safe for my return. I have more work I have to do here before I head back in the night. Have you found the required materials for the spell?
Um, I will. Yeah, I will let her know that we have gotten everything that she needs. So yeah, I'll just say that. I'll just tell her that we've gotten everything that we need or were to supply to her. But I was also going to ask her just right after, like kind of immediately after telling her and letting her know that, um, or asking her about if like the caretakers of the cemetery would have restored the lock on that mausoleum. Would you know if that had happened yet?
Well, I made the request through my family first thing in the morning, but well, it's not exactly like something that they consider an emergency per se. I would imagine that the workers, well, they may not be arriving for some days now, unless I make a push on it, but that would be unusual to say the least. I would imagine that the door yet stands open.
Okay. Yeah, we have everything for you. When are we going to be? Are we going to be present when this spell happens, or whatever you're going to do happens? Are we going to be present for that, or?
I would welcome your assistance if you feel yourself a bit able to handle the potential horrors that will assault us during the effort. I would caution that this is not for the faint of heart. If you or any of your company find yourself unsure of your ability to withstand the mental assault that will you will endure, then I would say to stay away. But with that said, this is an effort that requires multiple strong wills combined in force for the best chance of success.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't know how to play the flute, would you?
Um, I know Mary had a little lamb.
I would hope one among your company is a something of a flautist. Otherwise, we're going to have to rely on a very short crash course from somebody to be able to play the correct tones.
I know my way around some light music theory, so I might be able to figure it out. But no promises. I'll definitely give it a try.
Well, for all of our sakes, I certainly hope so. I'm willing to take on the role myself, but I am more of a pianist myself, and not sure that the flute is something that I will take to all too quickly.
Okay. All right. That's about all I wanted to say. I guess the main things I'm worried about right now is getting back to the mausoleum and having a few surprises on our hands. I just don't know how much Cecil Hunter would know and if it even matters to him at this point. But I guess it's safe to assume that um, he has probably some significant hand in a lot of what's going on or what has gone on recently. So um,
He's probably the most severely affected, being the one who was most responsible for breaking the spell of sealing. He was in the front line, as it were, for the effects of the escaping horror that was compelled to stay within the ink of those pages.
okay. All right. Well, I think we just have one thing to attend tonight, but depending on more pressing matters, we may have to cancel, or I'm not sure. I'll. When were you wanting to present the spell, or start it, or cast it?
She sighs and says, "I understand. Well, I don't think tonight will be possible. There is still some research I must do. It looks like at the earliest we will be in the best position to try and close it on Saturday. I would suggest that you and your group plan to meet me at 10 p.m. Or thereabouts in the mausoleum. I trust you remember how to find your way down to the room that you found me in beneath the lower floor.
Correct. Yeah, I still remember, and I'm sure the others do as well. Um, I guess I will. We will plan on seeing you then. Till then, I definitely urge you to take care and to keep an eye out.
I will do so, and thank you for your concern. I would stress again that if you can ensure that you track down Cecil and prevent him from interrupting us, that would be ideal. If there's anyone who has been possessed by the horror that lived within those pages to do its bidding, it is he.
Okay, will do. I appreciate it. We will see you Saturday, and then I'll just walk off.
All right, you are heading back out. We're going to cut over to Galloway. Galloway, you are standing in front of the door to the library, smoking. And
Baker.
what? Yeah, Baker. I'm saying the wrong name. Thank you. Baker is standing in front, smoking. Look, you're like I'm reading notes at the same time as trying to say something, and I say the thing that I'm reading rather than the thing I need to. Anyway, uh, Nora Baker is standing in front of the library smoking. And around the corner comes one Professor Roach. He is panting and sweating, and he approaches rapidly and grabs you around the shoulders and says, "What have you done? Where are they?"
Where are who, sir?
"You know very well. The papers, woman. Where are they? You have them."
I do not, but we are narrowing in on their location. If you will be patient a little longer, I'm sure you may have a chance to study them yet.
"Study them. I must be responsible for returning them. And you're holding out on me. Where are the papers? I cannot stand these strange diversions, these strange apparitions anymore. I must have them." And he starts to shake you.
She will try and just like grab his arm and sort of push him away to arm's length. Say, "Sir, I must insist that you calm down. I don't have the papers.
All right. Give me a contested brawl check. Oh, he is an old man who is weak.
Ooh.
You both fail and shake each other back and forth, grabbing onto one another. He looks into your face and says, spit flying from his mouth, and says, "I cannot stand it any longer. I know that you're the one accosting me. I know that your silly investigators are here to bring me down. Just hand over the papers, and this will all be done."
How unhinged does he seem?
I guess give me a psychology roll. He's pretty unhinged. The man is sweating profusely and his eyes darting from side to side. He is speaking at a high pitch and clearly seems the worse for wear. He looks like he is hardly sleeping and he's got obvious stains from sweat on his armpits.
Nora will sigh heavily, and then since we're on campus, it's not particularly late. She's gonna just sort of look around and try and find security or something nearby, and catch their attention. Just sort of be like, "Professor, you are obviously unwell. Please, please stop. You need rest."
Give me a dodge roll. You see out of the corner of your eye as one Anthony Flinders appears from the bush and comes careening towards you, flying straight into Roach's side, and you pull back at just the last moment as he tackles Roach to the ground and says, "Fear not! I have got him! Flee!"
Does it look like I caught the attention of any security?
There are no security on the campus.
Okay. Then I will give Flinders a nod and a wink, and I will take off with my chicken.
All right, you head off across the quad. As this is happening, Watson Galloway, you were leaving the music department, and you see Nora running across the quad with a chicken held high, as she's going like this.
I guess we'll try to wave her down.
All right.
She'll just look over at you and take one hand off the chicken cage for a moment, just wave you towards the car and keep running.
I'll shout out, "Where's the other two?"
Let's talk at the car, Galloway. Let's go. And start.
Okay.
Usher you along.
I guess I'll stand there, confused for a moment before running after them.
All right, I will say that then Brady, as you head out into the main level of the library, you arrive back to meet up with Wright, and as you guys are briefly discussing the what happened with speaking with Amelia, you hear the noise of yelling out front of the library.
Students are thinking around.
I'll just look at Mr. Red. I think we need to go check on Nora and see if everything's okay.
Start heading out.
You leave the library to find a Flinders restraining Roach who is flailing about and yelling. But he's an older man who is a bit portly and not very muscular. He has a hard time handling a young athletic man who is seeking to restrain him. Flinders looks up and says, "The professor isn't right in his mind. You must go."
Flinders, what are you doing?
Roach is out of control. He thinks you're trying to destroy him. I've been following him all day.
Across the quad, you just see Nora running away with the chicken like above her head.
Do we see? Can we see Nora and the others heading towards?
Yes,
the
100%. You can see Nora like nearly at the car and a slightly confused Watson Galloway with musical instruments in tow, who are hastening across the quad at the same time.
I feel like we've also missed out on the roles of starting the engine of this car each time because of that crank.
That's true. Well, okay, yeah. There was one where like okay, so none of them have been under duress. That's true. But we were coming up to a starting of the car under duress, which is a good point.
Does
Okay.
it look like the fight is going well for Mr. Flinders?
1 second, I was about to do some rolls. Hold on a second. Where is Flinders?
The end of my notes each week have turned into like old school Batman. Can Flinders hold Roach in check? Turn in this time next week. Same fat channel.
So Roach attempts to once again throw Flinders off, but Flinders manages to wrestle him downwards again as they roll about on the ground. The first roll was Roach, the second was Flinders. Weirdly, the sheets are not set up right. They both have a brawl of 0, and it's like I think the default brawl is 25, but it doesn't really matter. Clearly, Roach did worse. We're going to say that's a neutral result. So arriving at the car, Nora throws the chicken in the back, the opening back like trunk seat, and goes to the front to try and start the engine. Soon behind will be Watson Galloway with Wright and Brady a little further back. And give me a strength check to start the car.
It broke Nora's hand, I bet.
Oh, you get away with it again. All right. So this time, again, it kicks slightly, but you manage to pull your hand away briefly before putting your hand back on it. And with a brutal heave, you manage to turn the crank, and the car sputters to life, and you hop into the driver's seat. Unless there's anything you guys want to do, I will say you guys pile on into the car and you head off to whatever your next destination is, which we will decide upon next week.